Hello and welcome to La Rosa Reads. I'm Denise La Rosa, and today I'm going to share the 10 books that I hope to get to by the end of this year. So this is a trend that has been swirling around the Bookstagram world, and I thought, how fun would it be to bring this Bookstagram trend to BookTube? And so today I'm going to share those 10 books that I'm hoping to get to by the end of this year for numerous reasons. Whether it's an author that I promised you guys I would read their backlist, or whether it's been trending and I'm just curious, or it just may be sitting on my shelves and I'm tired of looking at it. I want to read it. Interestingly enough, I have been reading this book in spurts. It is full of short essays about why we read. And so I find myself snuggling late at night and just getting nostalgic and all of the feels from reading this book. And I want to finish it this year. And this is a book that I purchased at the Greater Pittsburgh Festival of Books. And it is titled Why We Read: On Bookworms, Libraries, and Just One More Page Before Lights Out. This is written by Shannon Reed, a Pittsburgh person that is someone we revere here in the Burgh, and someone that I have been delighted to enjoy her work with this book. She shares personal stories. She shares things that are just universal in terms of why we read and what motivates us to read. Sometimes what has deterred us from reading, prevented us from really fully enjoying the reading experience. I've enjoyed every single essay so far. I know I'm going to enjoy it in its entirety. I just need to finish. My book bestie and personal bestie, Olive from A Book Olive, is someone that I love spending time with, and go figure, the two of us book lovers love to meet up at bookstores, including our local Barnes & Noble. We were perusing the shelves and there was this discount going on, this wonderful sale, and it lured us to this book that I'm hoping we can buddy read by the end of this year. And it is Pride and Prejudice and Pittsburgh. How fun would it be to read this book with Olive? We both are not Pittsburgh born and bred, so to speak, but we are Pittsburgh natives nonetheless, in terms of the fact that we've been here for quite a while and we love our city. I think this will be an interesting read for us to buddy read together. I am hopeful that it will be a good one. I'm appreciative of Olive for forewarning me that there isn't as strong of a connection to Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice as the title would lead you to believe. So I'm glad that I'm not set up for disappointment in that regard. I'm hoping to read this book real soon. I tend to steer clear of books that are so overwhelmingly popular and talked about because I just feel like I might be informed by that and misled and kind of brainwashed into thinking I should be reading this book, and I love this book because everyone else loves it. I want to make sure that the book has had time to cool off on social media and the like, to make sure that I am reading it and making a decision for myself and not being heavily influenced one way or another by other people. Well, you guys, this is a book that I want to dive into so badly. I'm hoping to get to it by the end of this year, and it is James by Percival Everett. Here's another thing about your girl. I've never read The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, but I do have a copy of that one, and I want to read that book first, then read James, and just relish in that multiple perspectives experience. I think it's just genius of Percival Everett to give us yet another perspective on the same story. So, will I finish? Will I get to it? We shall see. I fell in love with Kennedy Ryan with Before I Let Go. I didn't want to let go of that story, and I'm so glad that she has a sequel out that's been out for a while, to the point where the third book in the series is coming out in a matter of months into 2025. So your girl has to catch up by reading This Could Be Us. So we've got Soledad Story, who was friends with our main character, our main female protagonist in Before I Let Go. So I'm curious about this character. She it's interesting because she wasn't necessarily my favorite side character, but I knew her story was rich enough that it warranted its own book. I'm super excited to get to this one and that third book that's coming out soon. So I stretched myself by doing a little fun activity and letting Instagram choose my next read to add to my TBR. One of the books that showed up for me in that challenge is The Art of Scandal. You guys, this is one of those library books that I checked out like a month ago and it's still sitting on my shelves. And I feel kind of bad because somebody else could be reading it, but I also don't want to let it go yet because I keep thinking, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. I have to get to this one by the end of the year for obvious reasons. It's a library book, and also it sounds really, really good. I'm looking forward to reading this book for the plot. I'm also looking forward to reading my first Regina Black novel. So, wish your girl luck yet again. I love Russell over at Ink and Paper Blog, and he oftentimes opens up his videos by promising that he's going to make our TBR explode. Well, Russell, you certainly do that for your girl Denise, and this is one of the books that he inspired me to pick up, and it is The Princess of 72nd Street. This is a book by Elaine Craft. I have never heard of the book prior to Russell introducing it on his channel. I just know we're set in the 1970s, my favorite era, my favorite decade, and we're in New York, my favorite, arguably my favorite city in the world. So, to me, we already have a win-win. A single artist living alone in New York's Upper West Side in the 1970s, she periodically descends into episodes of what she calls radiances. While under the influence of the radiance, she becomes Princess Esmeralda, and West 72nd Street becomes the kingdom which she rules. Okay, this is intriguing, and it's really tiny. It sounds like there's a lot packed in here, so I'm ready for it. Oh, you guys, this subgenre has just taken my heart and just made it all warm and fuzzy inside. I have fallen in love with Japanese translated fiction novels that revolve around coffee, that revolve around cats, and now we've got one revolving around cats and food. It is screaming, La Rosa, read me. The Kamogawa Food Detectives has been luring me in, and one of the things that helped me pick up this book, like literally today, is the fact that I accidentally got book 2 last weekend. I cannot read books that are in a series out of order. I will not do it. If I do it by accident, I will just lose my marbles, back up, and go to the beginning. So before I crack book 2 open, I need to read book 1. All right, I've shown you guys 8 books that I hope to get to by the end of 2024. And if we're doing 10 before the end, that leaves me with 2 more to share with you love bugs. Your girl had this wonderful idea for a little series on La Rosa Reads, and it will start with this book I'm about to show you. Now, my track record with series on this channel has not been the best. I started Moonlit Pages that were books inspired by Michael Jackson songs. I've done 1 episode. I'm not sure if I want to continue that series. A couple of you said, please do. And so let me sit with that for a little bit. But I also got this idea to start another series that I'll tell you about in the near future. All you need to know is Peter Pan is a part of that adventure. Speaking of track records for me, I made this the year of Ann Petrie. Last year, I started this new adventure of having one author that I want to read all of their backlist and just celebrate them on social media. And I started that with Lisa Cross Smith. This year was to be the year of Ann Petrie because I loved The Street. So far, I've read Country Place, but I have 2 more books by Ann Petrie. So I should have really had 2 of them, not just 1, on this 10 before the end list. I've got to get to them, guys, for the total of her 4 backlist books. I don't know what's preventing me from diving into Ann Petrie's books. I love her, but let me just try to make this promise to myself that I will read Miss Muriel and other stories by the end of this year. All right, there you have it, my friends, my 10 before the end of the year. What would be your 10 before the end of 2024? I am so curious to know what books you have as must reads on your TBR. And until next time, happy reading. Bye.